Hi, and welcome to another episode of I'm Not Dead, kind of, but only on the inside.
5D.
5D.
Yeah.
It's a
Uh,
throwback, just, horrible shit to throw out to the audience.
yeah, sure. I'm for it.
So, yeah,
It's okay with me.
all nonsense aside, though, absences have been due to lung stuff. Nah, just
Yeah.
brutal colds and things like that.
But
Also,
look, he means the band. It's
yeah,
all their
yeah,
fault.
yeah. Oh, I don't know that I actually know any of their songs. People were really into them. Oh wait, Stupid Girl, was that them?
No, that was cold.
I thought that's what we were talking about, the band Cold, because of colds.
Lung, because you said lung stuff.
Oh, see, we're making this similar joke, but in different, completely different words and directions. Um, but yeah, no. So
Lung.
also didn't have power for one of the recordings, and just yep, completely
What you're getting here, folks, is he is full of excuses.
all of the excuses, and Mother Nature hates me. That's what I'm getting at. It's actually so cold right now. I'm wearing my outdoor clothes indoors, and wearing my headphones on the outside like a douchebag.
Yeah,
For those that aren't on the
like a
live stream,
real piece of shit.
truth. But what that has actually awarded me is an opportunity to watch some new shit, play some new shit, and actually go outside.
Gross.
So there's all kinds of shit that I've done, and then some of it that I want to talk about.
Some of
Of
it he doesn't want to talk about.
Oh, trust me, there's so many things in my life I just do not want to talk about. Um, but I've been playing Saints Row, the remake or the reboot. It's actually a reboot,
Actually, a
actually.
reboot.
Um, have you seen any of the trailers or other? I know you haven't played it.
No, I knew it was coming out, and then that's the end of my relationship with that game.
So the game came out, obviously, and it came out a while back. Actually, it's been out for a minute because it was on Xbox Game Pass.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
So
mhm, mhm,
I
mhm,
decided to
mhm,
play it.
mhm.
I'm having fun. I spent a good chunk of yesterday just really sinking into it. Um, I will say I accidentally put it on easy, and uh,
Accidentally.
yeah, because it doesn't say easy, medium, or hard. It just talks about how much of a gangsta you are, I believe.
Oh, and you're just so unhip. You thought you were going for like a real hard difficulty, and what really happened is that means little bitch.
Yeah, apparently I don't know Saints Row terminology anymore because
What is little bitch mode called?
I don't fucking remember. That was like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
But hey, I'm being honest. But I'm enjoying it for sure. Um, it's interesting because let me give you the setup. Uh, you are roommates. All the folks you see here on the screen, you're all roommates, and you're all working for different factions of all of the major players in this game, right? One of them just happens to be a corporate paramilitary group, and then other like gangs that are thematic. Like you've got the idols, who seem to be like, if Dead Mouse woke up one day and wanted to be a G, that's what that gang is like. They wear the big helmets, and they're very socially conscious, fighting the corporations, but doing it through murder and mayhem and things like that. And then you've got so that's the idols, and you have marshals, and then there's the Panteras, I believe is what they're called, and that's your stereotypical um, cars, guns, drugs, that kind of thing. It is very Hispanic centric, and even the roommate that was part of it, she's actually from the town that I'm from.
San
In,
Jose.
nope, in Mexico. But yeah,
Also San Jose.
also no, but good close. Anyways, so they're all part of something, and as fate would have it, they lose their membership or get betrayed in some way, or their org
Betrayal.
does something shady, and they decide to branch out on their own and make their own gang called the Saints.
Saints.
I will say it is so fucking grindy. That's
Ooh.
my biggest complaint. So, excuse me, not in a necessarily like terrible way, but I'll give you an example. Once you unlock your headquarters, you get to branch out into build a criminal empire, right? So you do missions, you gather up money, and let's say you build a pawn shop. It's an example. Well, that pawn shop has like 4 or 5 missions for it to actually make you like money and really develop and give you like the unlocks and the skills, right? So you have to fill up an entire map. And some of these missions are like, oh yeah, go across towns, steal this thing, bring it back.
Oh, yeah,
Literally fetch quests, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the challenge. I will say that the quests aren't boring, and because they do most of them in a way where you can just kind of get there whenever you feel like it, you can get a mission going and then just get distracted by all the stuff there is to do. And there is so much to do. There's take picture, not quest, but collectible. There's a whole collectathon. And it's kind of where they started to lose me, but the combat and the gameplay is so much fun. It's I would say it's similar to Mass Effect 2 and 3 because
losing me.
fair enough, because it's the hold a button, drop a skill kind of thing. That's what I'm talking about. And
Okay. I don't know what that means.
so in Mass Effect and in a lot of games, you hold R1 to unlock your skills menu and you press another button to actually use the skill. It was something that Mass Effect did. A bunch of other games have done it as well. So it uses that mechanic, which I know you're not a huge fan of because menus within menus.
It seems shallow enough I can deal with it.
It's fun, but the combat is super fun. So like for the character, the way that I'm going, one of the skills is you launch a thing that launches people in the air, and then you can just shoot them like a shooting gallery. So it's not all straightforward. There are a lot of hints of what I loved in the latter Saints Row games. Honestly, there's enough of the goofiness. There's humor there, and because of the way that both you and I play, I'm not nearly as far in the story as I could be. So maybe it gets a little bit goofier, a little bit more outrageous, but some of these missions are out there like I'm hijacking helicopters and things like that. It is definitely very fun. I would recommend it. Don't pay for any of the special editions. Dude, this game has so many cosmetics that they just throw at you, and that
Yeah, and I can't imagine any of them mattering at all.
Yeah, exactly. So like I don't pay any of the additional editions. It's a fun little game. I'm probably gonna finish it all. It's very sandboxy. This starts to fall under like the Watchdog games for me, where
Never played them.
fair enough. Open sandbox Ubisoft style game, right? Where there's a lot to collect. There's a lot of little side missions, but if you pay attention, a lot of those side missions do contribute to the overall universe and make it a little bit more immersive and fun.
The overall universe is much better than the short universe. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Or the Spandex Speedo universe.
Yep. Also not one of my favorites.
Yeah, just not a fan. Anyways, I give this a solid, 3.75 out of 5.
Ooh, okay.
Well, I give it a 4. It's just, again, very, very grindy.
Yeah.
No, I take that back. I just remember a mechanic that's super fun. Yeah, I'll give it a 4, a solid 4. So,
Ooh, they locked it in. Well done, Saints Row.
One thing that the Need for Speed series did a long time ago really well, Need for Speed 2 Underground,
They put cars in it. That really helped that franchise.
Yeah, it's the car customization. And now in this game, you can do it to a ridiculous extent. I've literally taken a bus and turned it into what looks like a Riddler mobile, but an off-road Riddler mobile with NOS on it, and actually, it helps. The more upgrades you put the car, the better it handles. so it's less of a fucking chore to do these goddamn fetch quests.
And the first Saints Row, they were like, you can customize your car, and I was like, I don't know, 2 settings. Hey, that's the car I'll be driving forever.
No, and in this one,
You know me with vehicles of any type, even Kingdom Hearts. No matter how in depth they make the gummy system, I will pretty much always maybe like because it's the same thing. Things you put on there do increase its shields, its weapons, its speed, and all that. Throughout the entirety of a gameplay of Kingdom Hearts, I will maybe revisit my gummy ship 4 times max throughout the entirety of the game because I just don't want to do that ever.
You're like me, and any time where they make you deliver stuff on a time line, I'm always like,
Yeah,
I'll do the bare minimum for the missions, and other than that,
yeah,
even
especially
dick.
like the open world sandbox games. I'm like, oh, here's a time trial. Get from here to here so quick. I'll run it once, and I don't care if I get bronze, silver, or gold. Once I get one of them enough to say it has been beaten, I'm done, and I'm never running it again.
Yeah.
I don't do time trials. I hate it. I'm not going to do it.
Actually, for me, the only reason that I can't 100% anything since Borderlands 2 is because I refuse. I'm just out.
Right, yeah. There's just some mission types. Even like I really love the Batman games, as you know, the Arkham
Yeah.
series, and all those ones are like, oh, if you really want 100% it, you have to do like our scenario mode, you know, where it's like, oh, beat 45 guys without getting punched, and I go, could I probably do that eventually? Yeah, with enough time and practice, I could definitely do that. Do I want to put any amount of time or effort into doing that? Nope.
Yeah, zero fucks. I'm the same way. Scenario mode or challenge mode on a lot of games, I'm just like, I'm here for the experience of the story and the game. Yep. I don't want to go do extras because a lot of times I feel like we added this thing, and I'm like, that's great for people who care, but for me, it's not an added thing. It's a chore.
I'm actually excited to somebody. I read this recently. There was a thread on Reddit about games that other people are hyped for that you just can't get into. And here's where a lot of people are going to judge me, but it's just true. I really have a hard time getting into The Last of Us. Not because I think the story's bad. The story's great. I hate the gameplay.
I've never even tried them.
It's very stealth heavy, and I'm just not a stealth heavy guy. It's not like, at least in Batman, if I need to, I can drop on the floor and gut my way through smacking motherfuckers around. You know what I mean? But
the difference with the Batman games is that the stealth wasn't absolutely mandatory the whole fucking time.
And it is the same in this. It is not mandatory the whole time, but I will say I've tried so many times to just do the old-fashioned shootout, and boy, is it not suggested for that game. But I read recently, apparently most levels where there's not a specific person you have to kill, you can cheese and sneak your whole way through without killing anybody. They're like, there is almost always a path where you might have to sit there and wait for like 5 full minutes.
Yeah.
And then you'll see your opportunity and you can run for it. And as long as you can get out the back door, you're done with the mission. I was like, you know what? If all it's going to take is time and not effort, I will sink that little bit of time back into it and make it happen because I did like the story and I do want to try and finish out at least the first game.
I've begun to compromise. I like games where it goes, hey, you should stealth this. It'll make the experience much better. But if you don't want to, you're going to suffer. Here you go. And I'm like,
yeah,
I'm okay with
try
this.
The Last of Us. It sounds like that gameplay might be up your alley.
Maybe.
And you are a little more third-person shootery than I am. Like, I'll play them, you enjoy them.
Yeah, I don't hate them. I don't hate them. I prefer games where you start in third person and get to go to first. Like, I like being able to
think of this more like Uncharted. People are going to beat me up for this comparison, but I actually do think it's apt. Think of Uncharted meets Metal Gear, but meets them both in the middle. So, like, you don't need the stealth of Metal Gear at all, but stealth is a big enough component where, like Metal Gear, you are stealthing. This game, you are stealthing. But like Uncharted, yeah, if for the last couple of guys you just need to throw down, you can just throw down.
I'm curious because the reason I didn't play it was, one, it looked like it was a lot of stealth, and at the time, it was another zombie fucking thing. And then
It's not. I will get. It does feel fresh enough from zombies, and honestly, they're not the main thing you're up against. You have a bigger struggle with people than you do with clickers, at least as far into the game as I've gotten, and I'm not claiming to have made it very far into the game.
yeah.
But truly, I encountered very few clickers, and mostly my conflicts were with people.
And the biggest
Very
like
Walking Dead.
hurdle, which is the same hurdle I have for almost everything, is people wouldn't shut up about it. It was like I've already gotten a bunch of the stuff ruined. People are
Yep.
mad about stupid stuff, all that.
Likable characters, though. That's what I will give it. Very, very likable characters.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely a game that I've just no interest in. I hear that there's some DLC for Elden Ring. Again, not saying bad things about it. I just don't care. I have zero
Yeah.
interest.
It's
But
not
no,
for us.
check out Saints Row. It was pretty fun. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I've gotten my Steam Deck to run Xbox remote, the PlayStation Play or whatever their stream version, all on that one thing. So now when we're going to bed, I just grab my Steam Deck and I'm still playing the same game.
Masturbates to that.
Oh yeah, just hardcore. So totally worth it for just being able to carry it with me. But yeah, oodles and oodles of fun. There's something that I didn't know was out. I thought it was still like coming out that you've watched, and I totally want to hear about it.
Ryan Seacrest.
That's funny. But yeah, tell us about it. Clerks 3.
Oh man, yeah. I had also been waiting. It's been out for a hot minute, but it's been out for purchase. It hasn't been out for rent for super long. And after going to see Jay and Silent Bob Reboot Live, which you and I did, and while you and I like Reboot, I get why a lot of people didn't like fully get it. Not even be like, oh, I'm like the understand. Like, no. It makes sense that a lot of people probably wouldn't like that film.
It feels like Jay and Bob Strike Back 2, right? Like,
Kinda, yeah. That was almost like an homage to his own films, which again, it has its place, and I did enjoy it. But I'm also a heavy Kevin Smith fan. Not like not a fucking casual, but you get what I mean. It's
yeah, I get what you mean.
I can take that love because I have a very, very deep love. But even somebody who's like a big fan but doesn't have a deep love would walk away from it going, "What are you just jerking yourself off?"
Yeah, but straight up though, like let's be honest.
And that's a little bit of what I had heard about 3. I will say that for me, I walked away not feeling that way at all. It felt almost like a making of Clerks, but also its own story, but also his own biography. It was a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions crammed into one movie. And for the most part, for me, it really works. I wouldn't say that every call is a fucking unique gem, and that's the same
Yeah.
with any movie. You're not going to like every decision that every movie makes.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to get too spoilery. The ending's a pretty big deal.
Okay.
My wife and I didn't see it coming until we did, and that's always saying something. All in all, though, it felt so fun, and honestly, the best parts were being able to look at my wife and go, "Oh fuck, that's the same guy from Clerks. Oh fuck, that's the same." Even the small characters, it seems like he got most people back for this.
That's good.
Right, and it was so fun to see, and all the stories of how they came up with ideas or things that were real. I kept going, oh man, did that happen? Oh man, did that really happen? Because even as somebody who's watched a lot of the Kevin Smith talks, these felt like stories he had never talked about before, and anything that it seems like Kevin Smith hasn't talked about before, well, that's kind of a big deal.
And it's interesting, right?
You usually can't shut the guy up.
Yeah. Not a bad thing, just truth.
No, not at all a bad thing. Yeah, this one felt very genuine, and weirdly, it felt more on brand with the original Clerks. To a point, I really like 2, and I might say 3's better. Hard pressed in the moment, I might say 3 is better than 2. For entirely different reasons. And again, even though I say it's more on brand, I still wouldn't walk into it expecting a director's first indie movie he's ever done. Like, clearly you're not going to get that. That's not going to
Yeah, yeah,
happen.
no, no,
And the
not at
movie
all.
also stays self-aware of the fact that sequels to Clerks were kind of ridiculous ideas to begin with. It's very aware of all of
Yeah.
that. It somehow manages to be a sequel, a contained story, an autobiography, and a making of movie.
So all in all,
All in
it
one.
sounds like you're in.
Yeah, truly walked away happy, walked away
Now,
not feeling like I wasted my $5 on a rental.
do you feel like you have to be a Kevin Smith fan to enjoy this movie?
I think you need to be a Clerks fan to enjoy the movie.
Okay.
Like some, yeah, and again, it's number 3. So what are you doing starting with number 3? You know, like
Yeah.
that just wasn't gonna work.
Mhm.
So credit due there. But yes, you do need to be a Clerks fan.
Okay. So I couldn't just like pop this on and made my wife watch it.
Has she seen 1 and 2?
Nope.
Then probably not.
Okay. Well, that's why that's also the reason I asked that is that's the same measure that I applied to reboot. It's like, do you have to be a Kevin Smith fan to enjoy it?
Reboot, you have to be a Kevin Smith
absolutely.
fan. This
Yeah.
one, you at least need to have enjoyed Clerks.
Okay.
And
Or
you don't need to have seen number 2. It helps, but I think they cover enough bases that you can actually skip number 2 and still get it.
okay. Fair enough. Now I'm actually very interested in watching it. I was interested before. I didn't know it was out, but now I'm very interested. It'll probably end up being my gym movie.
Let's give it an all too specific rating. 4.65. That's where I'm going to go. There were a couple jokes that I personally just felt didn't land.
Okay.
Some of these motherfuckers are just old. They're just old. God damn it. And I know they can't help that, but for some reason it just doesn't help things.
Okay. Like they're old and they shouldn't be talking this way, or like what?
They're
Why is it a
old,
problem?
and they're old, and this person doesn't exist at that age. Like this exact person, I don't think exists at that age. But it's not done in a bad way. And if I can't, like one thing that's helping this movie, oh my god, for me, Elias's costume changes scene by scene are fried gold. Oh
funny.
my god, they're all so good. Each one is better than the next. And the fact that he seems to be, they only call it out once or twice, and apparently he is oblivious to the things he's wearing being referential sometimes,
That's
and
funny.
it makes it so much better.
That's hilarious. Wait,
Oh.
they didn't tell him?
Like they pointed out to him, and he just goes like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Okay.
Yeah, it's great. It fucks, bro. It works.
Good. I'm glad. I'm so tired of being fucking disappointed in shit.
Yeah, this is not Super Troopers 2, or at least it wasn't to me.
Okay, fair enough. Well, the other thing I was disappointed in was, honestly, Blockbuster, man. I know they just canceled it, which is why it's so topical, but
Yeah,
I was disappointed. I
didn't hate the show. The show was fun. I thought it needed a second season because now it kind of understood its characters. It had written them, and we could really do something with them. I think a season 2 is exactly what that show needed. But hey, now we're never gonna fucking know. So whatever.
For sure. Although I will say there's the one character that I just absolutely hate that I think
DB Smooth's character,
the best friend.
JB Smooth's character. Oh fuck! Did I just fuck up his first name?
Probably.
Smooth's character. I found the character just plain unlikable, and that was really unfortunate.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know if it's the writing or if it's the performance. I'm not trying to go after anybody here, but I just felt like it lacked chemistry.
Yeah, no, same. It was not working for me.
Exactly. So, other than that, though, some of the other characters were fun and they were developing. I know we did a full review, but yeah, a little bummed out that they canceled it.
All right, here's what I want to happen next. Mostly because I'm going to take a bio stretch, but we don't need it because I don't need the intro for this one. You and I talked about the intro for this one. Eduardo, I want you to paint a picture. I want you to pull in some shapes, specifically, I want you to I want you to channel your inner Aang and bend me some water. Give me the shape of water. I at least gave you a great intro before I take a quick bio stretch while you introduce this garbage pile.
Nice. I like that you led with that. Way to poison the well.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
So this weekend I went to see Avatar. I saw it in IMAX. So for folks that are out there talking about like you gotta see it in the right way, I did. I saw it in IMAX, and I actually saw it in 3D as well because I saw the first one in the exact same way. So I opted to just kind of repeat the experience. Before I jump right into the review of this, let me talk about the first one. I don't hate Avatar the first one. A lot of people, I don't know what happens as movies age. They start to like think back and like, oh no, that movie they made millions and millions of dollars was actually not great. First one's fine. It's not. It's groundbreaking in the technology that it used. It's groundbreaking in some of the film techniques as well. So if you're looking at it from like the technical aspect, I thought it was brilliant. The plot's a little thin. We've seen it all before, and it was very paint by numbers. So, while I enjoyed it and it made a bunch of money, was it my favorite film of that year? No. Looking back on it, am I like, yeah, let me go go back and watch it again? No. But there you are. That's the first Avatar.
That's right. I just blasted a bug onto my old finger in the background of this review.
It's all good.
Because Avatar.
I just finished talking about the first Avatar.
Okay. So let's pick up from there and why I'm willing to poison the well. Just really quick. Let me shape my Avatar experience since we just talked about number one. At the time, I was working at CBS, and I had a cavalcade of slack-jawed monkeys come in and ask me if I this was the counter conversation with the guy at CBS that people chose. Hey, you seen Avatar yet? No, I haven't. It's the best movie ever made. Really? About the blue cat people? Yeah, best movie I've ever seen. Okay. I work at CBS. I don't have enough money to go to the movies. Finally, the fucking thing comes out of Blockbuster. I rent it, and I watched the best movie ever made. Truly, not exaggerating. At least 50 customers come in between it being out in theaters and me watching it, and brought up that it's the best movie ever made. At least 50. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
And so I throw in Avatar, Not Even the Last Airbender, and it's Fern Gully. It's Fern Gully. The first movie is Fern Gully. It's a little bit of Dances with Wolves, but it's fucking Fern Gully. Are the effects really pretty? Yeah, but I didn't own a nice TV, so I had to watch the movie as not a spectacle of graphical entertainment, but as a movie. And as a movie, Avatar's a shitty movie. It's really cliche. It's really predictable. It has very stilted dialogue. It has unmemorable. Name a character. Like, say, I realize you just watched the sequel and it's fresh on your fucking mind. But before you rewatch the sequel, are you really going to look me in the eye and say you could name the main three characters?
No.
It's not a good film. So when they announced that it's getting 4 sequels, meaning 5 total Avatar movies, good God, I went, why? And then the trailer came out, and the trailer basically delivered no new plot and showed, like, this shit's gonna be real pretty. What about the plot? He's like a hero. Okay. And then I start seeing reviews of it come in, and people go, oh, fuck, bro, see it in IMAX, get the 3D. How's the plot? Oh, no. Yeah. They didn't try. So, I have this is where I'm going to shut up, and I'm just going to let you run right now. I'm going to shut up.
That's fine.
I'm not giving this any money. I'm not going to pay to stream it. I'm not going to pay to rent it. Will I see it free on an airplane? Sure. If it happens to be on HBO for free, okay. I will not give this franchise money because so far, I have seen nothing worth money. For me, you need more than pretty pictures. I can
Okay.
see pretty pictures all day. I play video games. I see pretty pictures all the time.
So here's the counterpoint, and I already talked about that a little bit when I was talking about number one, but here's the one thing I will say with these movies. I admit the plot wasn't great in the first one. Same with the second one. It's we've seen it, we've done it. Other people did it. But it's not bad. The performances aren't bad. They're fine. It's harmless. But this is a series that I've always split up. There's the film tech, and then there's the film. Like, yeah, is it a good movie? No, it's fine. It's harmless. It's not the worst movie. It's not fucking the Hansel and Gretel remake, right? It's fine. But yes, the shots are gorgeous. I really like to give it credit because there is a beautiful composition of real life shots with these like animated. So it has forwarded the CGI technology and specifically the 3D technology as well.
Sure.
IMAX filming is now a thing in large part to the series, right? Like
let me even temper your tempering. We also live in an age. Nose rings make for fun press, people. There's also this huge, slowly becoming a majority of not just fans but filmmakers and film contributors now saying Marvel movies aren't movies. These are schlock, and they do not deserve awards, and they do not deserve to be called films. What the fuck makes this deserve to be called a film? I'm sorry, but to be a film, it can't just be about a visual medium.
No. Hold on. So, I completely disagree with the folks that say that the Marvel movies aren't film. It's stupid. They've got, for the most part, they've got a beginning and a middle and an end. It might not be the greatest beginning, middle, and end.
And not all of them are good, but
no,
at least all of them are decent. I haven't not seen any of them so far that are just an absolute zero.
Well, but bringing it back to Avatar, this also it's not. There isn't an argument. It's not like Dear Esther, right? Where you're like, is it a video game? Like, where you're trying to bridge that gap. This is a movie.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's a movie.
It's a movie. It's just not a fantastic movie. It's not a terrible movie. I didn't. Honestly, though, I had more fun on this one than I did on the last Thor movie.
Ooh, okay. That's all. As somebody who also did not enjoy the last Thor movie, if I'm looking at the last Thor movie versus the first Avatar, I'd still rather watch the last Thor movie. That's me.
Well, and for me though, I'm talking about enjoyable, right? Like, now that I've seen both of them, which one am I more willing to rewatch? Honestly, kind of neither of them. But
well, gun to my fucking head, pick one. I'd still rather watch Thor. So for this to be better than that, I mean, that's actually setting a bar that's not unachievable for it, but it's shocking.
Yeah, it's just because I had more fun with this. Here's the great part about this. They devised these new animals, right? These new alien creatures, these aquatic animals, and it was.
Do they still link with a hair braid?
Yeah, it's a thing. Actually, you don't give a shit about the plot, right?
No.
They're starting to bring about why that's a thing. There's like this weird subplot that Cameron's trying to get out. I just think he's doing a little too slow, and it. You know how people say, "Oh yeah, that's just the service level stuff. This is just the like subversive stuff." Problem is, I don't think Cameron's trying to be subversive. I think Cameron's just trying to slow tell a story. But yes, you catch hints of it, especially in this one. It's a lot more lore heavy on those kinds of things. It's again, so you've got these brand new creatures. He introduced a whole other biome. He introduced some entirely new dynamics. Like, there's a conceptual version of a virgin birth.
No.
Again, I'm telling you, there's
No.
more. There's more to it. You don't have to like it, but it isn't. That's why
No,
I totally
it's-
argue that
Aren't we all really, like, deep down, all of our ideas of creation and religion are the same? Fuck you, Cameron. Jesus
no,
Christ.
actually no.
You used to have ideas.
Actually, no, not at all. That's the point. I'm starting to see a little bit of the other Cameron, and you know what? I don't want to spoil it for folks, but once we go offline, I'll just tell you, right? Because it's at least a glimmer of hope. I'm just so annoyed that it took an entire fucking movie for these tiny little reveals with no fucking payoff. It feels like an in-between movie, and I hate it because
That's
like,
all number two. Legitimately, though, that's all number twos these days.
yeah, I
Number
know.
two movies, they just feel like,
Except-
but really, we're just setting up for three. And it
Except-
sucks.
I will compare it, a very loosely comparison, to John Wick 2 and the way that while it still, John Wick 2 also felt like an incomplete movie, like an in-between, I mean, it also delivered on what you expected from John Wick. So that,
Oh, I still think it's the weakest one, though. Three's better than two is.
yeah, but because 3 did a lot better set pieces.
Oh, I think it's because it didn't feel like such an in-between. For me, the in-between thing has become a sticking point. I'm like, it's just lazy writing. It's just because you want a fucking trilogy.
Yeah, maybe but in that way, Avatar: The Way of Water did that.
Was
as well.
Rambo 2 just a bridge to Rambo 3? I don't know because I've never seen a Rambo movie.
Was Rocky 2 just a bridge to Rocky 3? I don't know because I've never seen any of the Rockies or the Creed movies.
I've seen the first Rocky movie because my history teacher was obsessed with it.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them. I'm told that that's some sort of travesty, but I haven't seen a lot of classics. So hey, yeah,
Fuck about boxing or Sylvester Stallone.
right. It's not a bad flick. It is. I like the design work that went into it. Not just, oh, it's pretty, but like they devised new aquatic species. They devised like new biomes, and on a just again.
So they did as much as your average video game would do in 3 times the amount of time.
But they seamlessly blended a mocap technology with these biomes and environments that were customly made.
I'm sorry, I don't know that if given the budget of $200 billion or whatever god awful amount they made this movie for, then look it up. Whatever this budget was,
I don't know that it's published yet, but let's find out.
Hand it to EA or Ubisoft, and yeah, they probably would have came up with some new bullshit too.
Potentially, but this is being done in a different medium, and this is being done like.
Wait, what different medium? Because it's a movie doing. Okay, the movie cost $250 million to make.
Okay.
With $250 million to piss away on. Like, okay.
No. Pick a video game and let's see how much its budget was.
That's what I was just. What is the newest Call of Duty? Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, we're told 250 million. It's exactly the fucking same.
That's the saddest shit I've ever seen in my life.
So, but again, and they did it seamlessly, and they did it with real live actors. Again, credit where credit is due. It is.
Okay, hold on. I found the caveat.
Sure.
Modern Warfare 2's development was 40 to 50 million. The rest of the 200 million was all marketing.
But we could say the same because there isn't a. It's similar, right? Films do the same thing. Marketing, dude. The reason that a lot of
no. Production budget alone on Avatar 2 was $250 million.
Okay, fair enough.
Just production, because James Cameron is a narcissistic psycho.
You know what? I don't agree.
In total, this is from Variety, so take it as trustfully as you want to take Variety, but they're a major publication. That movie needs to make $2 billion at the box office to break even.
How
Avatar 2 has to make $2 billion to break even.
how do they figure?
$250 range, but James Cameron isn't willing to give a hard number. The only answer Cameron gave at the sequel's budget when asked by GQ magazine following: very fucking expensive. I guess that I guess it's to make back the production, but there are things outside of not just marketing. There are other elements,
Yep.
distribution, and it's going to be about $2 billion before they can call it a movie that has made money.
Yeah,
And keep
but
in mind that Top Gun Maverick, one of the highest rated movies of last year, made $716 million.
I mean, there's that.
Destined to fail.
I don't know.
What's
We'll
the
see.
opening box office? Let's see.
That's what I'm looking up right now. So it looks like it made 441 million worldwide. So it made $500 million in its opening weekend.
But opening weekend is usually the majority of your money. Usually. Other movies have done surprises. Other movies have done weird week twos. But typically, you're going to make the biggest chunk of it in your opening.
Unfortunately, even the first Avatar didn't. It was one of those that kept hitting and coming back. It made a lot of money over time. So, unfortunately...
Also, I am seeing... Oh, never mind. This is for somebody linked a thing they shouldn't have. Never mind.
I'm looking at Box Office Mojo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it made 134 domestic,
Yep.
307.
Slightly less than expected.
Yeah, I mean, okay. And yeah, 441 million worldwide. We just don't know. Am I willing to go to the mat on this one? Fuck no. Am I willing to put money on it? No. Do I think it's a hot garbage of a movie that nobody should watch? Also no. Do I suggest people watch it in IMAX? Yeah, that's probably the only way it'll be worth it. Because it is gorgeous, and check it out in 3D if you can. Do I think folks should buy this and rent it at home? Probably not, because it's really going to kill a lot of the enjoyment. But your kids are going to love it. I'm straight up. Your kids will love it if you have crotch goblins.
Dumb.
Yeah, that and you know what? Most of the time, the theater I was in was mostly families. So most of the time, crotch goblins bring it. All right, we are getting pretty close to time here. Do you want to talk about something sad or about something potentially happy?
Let's end on a down note. This will be our empire.
All right, Aftershock Comics.
Oh man, yeah, this one really hurts. Aftershock Comics, the last couple conventions that you and I went to, my wife and I actually ended up sitting and chatting with them for a while, because you know how I shop for comics, especially at a convention. When it's a smaller company that you can't always find everything they make in your local shop, you know, your local shop's only going to buy like the big sellers and the things like that. So usually I will hit up some of the C and D tier comic publisher tables and just, hey, hit me with what's new, hit me with what's interesting, you know, shill, dance for me, monkey, sell me on your wares.
Woo.
And we had just become really big fans of what Aftershock was putting out, to the point where now I think I have 5 or 6 series from them that I'm actively and avidly collecting.
Okay.
And unfortunately today they announced their bankruptcy.
Oh, such a sad day.
And from the website I saw this on, which is a bunch of comic insiders, the guy who owns the site kind of came out and said, like, I'm gonna call it now and kind of say, like, I'm willing to bet there's going to be a couple more that follow this in the next year or two. We're probably going to look at not houses springing up, but houses winding down in the next year or two.
Yeah, it's just
until another indie comic can make another darling TV show. Like, we need our next Walking Dead. You know, Umbrella Academy didn't quite do it. What was that? I think it was another
Paper
Miller.
Girls?
Jupiter Ascending. Unfortunately, Paper Girls really fucking.
I thought it was
should've.
fantastic.
It was so good, and they're axing that. Hopefully, Invincible can bring some more numbers into Image. Yeah. I'm really hoping Blake Lively's directorial debut is going to be screenplay by Edgar Wright, directed by Blake Lively. That's a real powerhouse team for doing Seconds, the next Brian O'Malley comic being turned into a film.
Yep.
So hopefully something can bring some life into some of the smaller studios. But yeah, until Marvel and DC stop with this pissing contest and stop just whipping out shit movies just because they feel like they need to whip something out, man, it's really only going to hurt comics as a whole.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, especially like print comics, because the medium isn't dead. I still like the feel of the comic, right? Do I read most of my comics digitally? Well, yes, just it's easier. But series that I still collect, I still avidly collect. I just picked up Tales of Exandria at a comic shop that unfortunately was closing as well. They're
Yep.
having it just happened to be the complex of the IMAX theater that I went to, because there aren't that much around here where I live now. So yeah, I was pretty bummed out. It was, I don't know, for me. I know this sounds sad, but it's a legit solid memory. Dumpster diving behind the comic book shop was one of my favorite things to do, because they always like threw away the old stuff. I had a huge trading card collection of the old X-Men trading cards, because apparently they weren't being sold and they just got thrown away. It was great. I was poor.
Yeah.
And then once I got a little older, started making my own money, I'd go to that shop and buy comics, right? And a local comic shop was a big part of my whole like love of comics and comic book characters and all that kind of stuff. It was a nice departure from just reading the young adult stuff, or even the like the just written stuff. There were pictures and they were cool as shit, and because I grew up in the
Yeah.
90s, they were extreme.
Yeah, pockets.
But yeah, so bummed out about this.
Yeah, no, this breaks my heart. I'm glad at least oh, I'm Baby Teeth. At least Baby Teeth got an ending. I'm not to the end, but possibly Animosity has its ending. Hopefully it does. I hope Metal Shark Bro at least gets to finish out whatever arc they're working on.
do we know if it's bankruptcy to like shift shit around, or is it just we're done?
You're asking somebody who understands very little about this whole process.
Usually for corporations, there's two. There's the
Explaining it is not going to help me come to an answer for you, though. That's
Okay,
more what I'm
fair
getting
enough.
at. I do not know, because I
See,
didn't know that
I
was a
could have
question I
also
should
given
ask.
you the filing number, like the legal filing number, and then you would have just wanted to punch me through the fucking digital medium that we share here.
Yeah, I mean, I usually want to do that.
I mean, that's fair. I want to punch me too. All right, and on that note, on that happy note, check us out.
They
Mondays.
filed for Chapter 11 in the District of Central California.
Okay, so I do believe that's they're not closing. They're just reshuffling and trying to get their vendors off their back so they can continue to operate.
Oh no, and they might have accidentally doxed half the industry.
Oh, that's fun.
Their official filing has all of the names and addresses of the creators that they owe money to.
Well, as long as it's public record, so yeah, potentially. Hopefully, it's their business address.
Ooh, no, that's so bad.
All right, you know what? Fuck that. No outro. Check us out. Bye.
That's bad. Apparently they have